Welcome back to iHeartRadio. So Bad It's Good. Today, I can't wait to introduce you to a new show on Bravo, something that we have to give our full support. I mean, listen, I am tired of Vanderpump Rules. We've got to get new blood in on the action, and we have it Sunday nights directly after the new season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Listen, Summer House it's been sad this season. We need something fresh, and we have it. We have the first spinoff after 7 seasons of Summer House. We have Summer House Martha's Vineyard, and I got to watch the first episode, and you guys, it was great. It was amazing. First off, way better house. Way better. They have a private chef the first night. They have one of the first all-black casts in terms of Summer House, which is just so refreshing to see. Not only are these guys already fighting with each other, they're potentially flirting with each other, which we're going to talk about in a second, but it just sets you up for so many good storylines for the remainder of the season. They're set up in this house for 15 days. They have to take a little tiny plane to even get to Martha's Vineyard. I mean, it seems like a magical, faraway place that I have never been to. So I got to just 10 out of 10 for this first episode. So we have 3 of the cast members right now. I want to get you to know these guys because I want to see them on our TV for multiple seasons. So here we're going to Preston Mitchum. Hello. Will you say something, Preston, with your voice?
Hello. Preston Mitchum here. So nice to be here, Ryan. Thank you.
It's so great. You were one of my favorites. Jordan Emanuel, you are here. Please say hello.
Hi, everybody. Ryan, you've given us quite the intro.
Right? I could keep going. I was like, should I just tell the whole episode? And then we've got pretty boy Amir Lancaster with one of the best smiles on Bravo TV. Amir, say hello. Okay.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Amir Lancaster. Pleasure.
I'm sure you guys have been doing interviews nonstop all day, so thank you for doing another one. But I really want people to know this show and get to know this show. All good reality shows start off with some sort of friend group, and there are little connections that you guys all have with each other already, even though for the first time some of you are meeting. Jordan, how did you get on this show?
So I met everybody through the Playboy Club, actually. Jasmine, myself, Shanice, and Bria all worked at the club. I then went on to be a playmate, and that's how I met Summer because we were doing work together for Playboy at that point. And then I met Mariah through Jasmine. And so when Jasmine and Silas got together, he had already been going to Martha's Vineyard every year. And so we tagged along. The girls tagged along. We met the guys. We met Preston and the crew. And so this was really just a continuation of what we were already doing.
And just to let the audience know, you were the 4th Black playmate, correct? And then also you were the last playmate of all time. Is that correct?
The last playmate of the year. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, and then Preston, how did you know everybody? Because you're from Washington, D.C., correct?
I'm originally from Ohio, actually, but I've lived in D.C. for about 12, 13 years now. So, I never want to insult the native Washingtonians to say I'm from it, but I feel like I'm at this point. Well, Silas is actually my fraternity brother. We're members of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We also were in the same pledge class, so we're line brothers in particular. So we were we weren't close when we were before. But we got closer after that, right? And that's how we really connected. And then, of course, I met Jasmine, when we all went to the Vineyard. That's how I met a lot of other folks. The only people who I didn't initially know in the house were Amir, Nick, Alex, and Bria and I hadn't met, though we talked for a bit before. But that's how we're all connected from me.
And you guys, just so you know, they really were in a fraternity. They have a secret fraternity handshake, which I'm going to try to get Preston to teach us by the end of this interview. And then Amir Lancaster. Amir, what was your connection to this? How did you get on the show?
Yeah, so Nick and I had actually connected through social media. We're both in the fitness space. And then we both have a little bit of love for fashion. And so we connected on Instagram and had been keeping tabs with each other. And then eventually he just offered the opportunity for me to come out and explore Martha's Vineyard with a group of really great professionals and also great Black people. And I would have been a fool to say no. So I just got on the first plane that I could out of, Austin, Texas, to hop on a smaller plane that only seats like 4 people. And I was in Martha's Vineyard.
Amir, just to point out to the audience too, listen, you said you're getting 50 to 100 women a day, probably dudes as well, sliding into those DMs. Is that a correct number? Because I literally almost threw my computer across the room. I was like, I think I'm up to like 2, maybe one every week. Who knows? You're getting 50 to 100. They show pictures of Amir as a child, and he had never had a fade. His mom cut his hair, and you really had a glow up. Is that correct, Amir?
That's gonna be correct. I mean, I really started to come into myself my junior year of college, and then once I started posting thirst traps on TikTok, it was game over from there.
You talked about being in fashion like Nick. Nick actually is a really, I mean, it seems like a really interesting character as well, because he brings in so many clothes. He says he's not going to even wear the same thing ever again, potentially in the summer house or even further on. I mean, talking about other personalities that aren't here. I mean, you don't have to talk any smack or anything, but what were the personalities that stood out for you guys with the other cast members?
Whew.
Right.
I think everybody stood out in their own way. We very much all have distinct lanes that we run. And yeah, I would say we all had very interesting personalities that sometimes we got along and sometimes we clashed.
Mm-hmm.
How upset were you that Bria brought the dog? The dog seems to be a very big point of contention in the first episode, and there already seems to be at war between it's Bria and Jasmine, correct? So I was like, oh no, this doesn't seem like it potentially is going to get better throughout the time there.
Milo is one of the best housemates.
I agree.
So
wait, what about Bria though? Is Bria Milo? Is she?
Is Bria? I mean, it's Milo, Bria, Simon. So
yeah.
You could probably flip Simon and Bria some days, but no, but no, we loved Milo. Honestly, like if anything for me, I was just upset because my puppy wasn't there. But we loved Milo, so I can't say I'm a part of the anti-Milo, the anti-dog club.
I personally loved having Milo. It was a great opportunity for me to feel like I was at home. And it was like, you know, someone that I could get my energy out with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jordan, you were brought up towards the end of the episode as potentially being a troublemaker in a lot of ways. You were called out at dinner by Silas because, you know, you would supposedly get free drinks from men, which turns out it's probably just free drinks because it's an open bar. But also, but you made this great point for women. Like, why can't women actually take care of themselves? Why do men always have to come? Could you explain a little bit about that? Because I thought it was a really interesting point that got brought up.
Yeah, the way that he presented the conversation to me made it feel as though we were constant like prey, or that we were constant victims of society and the world, and that we as women weren't capable of taking care of ourselves or being self-aware enough to understand our surroundings and when it was a time to leave and when we were good and how much we're drinking, how we're getting home, et cetera, et cetera. And so I just, as somebody who lives alone and who's a single woman in New York City, you know, we're allowed to go out and have a good time and it not be any further or any less than that. And I just wanted him to understand my perspective instead of villainizing the fact that women want to go out and have a good time and be perfectly appropriate doing it.
Yeah, that you can actually look out for yourself like an actual person with body autonomy.
Right.
That's what I really appreciated about this first episode, is that you had really like a couple of great conversations that I immediately tuned in on. You had so many like kind of fights and tiny fights and like a lot of laughter, but there were these moments where I was like leaning in. Like Preston, you had a great moment where you would explain why you don't love the term Black excellence, you know, which I thought was really, I was just like, oh, this is interesting. I haven't heard this perspective before. Could you explain what you meant? Because you were having a conversation about this is Black excellence here, and you would kind of took umbrage with that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's mostly because of just the perception of who's perceived as excellent as Black people, right? Like, I mean, I would tend to believe all Black folks are excellent, but I think, and I don't think it's either or, right? I tend to believe that whenever I see Black excellence being described, it's always someone who broke a record, right? Who did the greatest thing in the world. And I just always kind of stop at like what resiliency means sometimes, because I'm just like, we shouldn't have to be resilient, right? In people's eyes to receive love, right? Like my mom, I use her as the example. Like she had 3 kids by 23. She barely graduated high school. She was not going to college. And I would never see my mom on a Black excellence poster, right? Let society tell that story. She would never be there. And I'm just like, okay, so what is she then? Right? Like, what does it actually mean or dictate when only Olympians can be excellent, or, you know, world athletes, or, you know, inventors, right? They are excellent too. And so are everyday people who would never have those opportunities.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I wondered though, for you guys, all 3 of you, is it sometimes, I'm trying to say this delicately, would it be like you're having a blast, you're doing everything that reality stars should do, but there's also this larger conversation that's sometimes getting injected into this. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with like sharing these ideas, and like, or are you just like, dude, I'm here to party, I'm here to fight. I do not want to be teaching people anything. What's your opinion on that?
I'm happy to start just to quickly say, this is not to shame anyone else, but this is just to specifically talk about Black folks. I believe Black people have a lot of depth, right? Which for me, that means that we're going to party, we're going to club, we're going to celebrate, and we're going to sit with healthy tension, right? About politics, about pop culture, about life, about, did you like the last episode of House of Atlanta, right? Like all those things are true. And I have been in many communities and many countries and many cultures, and I've just seen it so much with Black cultures throughout the world. And I think that's what's brilliant about the show, and that's what many people will love about the show. You get to watch us as we're like not only having fun, but taking a beat and being like, you know what? I got to discuss something real serious for a minute.
No, it was so refreshing, and you guys stuck the landing in those conversations, and you were able to get right back on track with having fun. And it just, you know, like it was a really interesting first episode, which made me like, oh man, this is like on an every week DVR schedule now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we want to hear. But I do think we are really good about balancing fun and serious conversations, educational conversations, and just intellectual conversations in general.
Yeah, no, it seems like that just from the first episode. Now, in terms of love, I'm glad we got Amir back for the love part. In the first episode, Jordan comes into the house. I'm sorry to speak about you like you're not here. And immediately a lot of the men's heads turn, which I think probably is a pain in the butt for Jordan to deal with a lot of the times. But I will say from the show, if you watch the show, when Jordan meets Amir, Jordan also seems like she is into Amir for a second. And can you explain the whole thing? Because there's another gentleman, I think it was Nick, who was like, I think he kind of likes Jordan too. I'm just assuming everybody did. Can you explain that first episode? You don't have to say what happens the rest of the season. Yeah, Preston, why don't you explain? By the way,
no, I was going to say self-included. Listen, I may be gay.
I was like, yeah, Preston, you explain.
I have eyes. Look, beautiful woman and smart as fuck. Like, who would not?
Amir, what did you think when you first saw Jordan and started talking to her?
Obviously the first thing that you're going to see when you see Jordan is the beauty, the smile, the perfect skin that she takes care of. That's kind of what just took me back for a moment. And you kind of see that in my smile when I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? But I mean, the levels and depth to Jordan, that's like really where you start to like get that attachment. So the beauty draws you in, and then, you know, there's that on the back end.
Jordan, what did you think of Amir when you first saw him? I would love if she just said, he's all right. He's all right. He's all right.
No, in truth, I think just coming to the house and seeing everybody, it was just a lot of energy in general. And I feel like I didn't have an initial first impression other than him being a gentleman, taking my bags upstairs, and just, you know, general politeness. We like it. We like an old school chivalry is not dead. And so I guess from that standpoint, that was my first impression. And I mean, obviously, he looks like a Greek god, so there's that.
A Lebanese Greek god, yes. Yeah, will we potentially see a showmance? Will this I mean, listen, he said he's going to help you make your potato. He wants French fries. You want a potato. I didn't know if that was code for something. It just seemed like, and we see the trailer for the rest of the season. I have a feeling, I don't know. Is there a love triangle, a showmance? Is there anything that we could potentially tease? Because I was very excited to find out Amir was coming on here, because I was like, oh my God, they're obviously not in the same hotel room, so they can't be together right now.
Well, I live in
no, there's a lot of opportunity. Oh, go ahead, Jordan.
Oh no, I was just saying, this is my home. This is not a hotel, but thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you do see our relationship and our friendship unravel. There are romantic moments within the house, not just with us. So you will get to see that all play out.
That was the biggest vague tease I've ever heard in my life, and I love it. I love all of that.
Good job, Jordan.
Also, Bria's is it fiance or boyfriend from Germany comes to visit the house we see in the preview for the rest of the season. Is it potentially, I was going to ask you guys, like, who got the drunkest in the house, but from the trailer, it looks like he potentially is probably the drunkest in the house. And I was like, this might not be good for him to be on reality television. Am I correct in my assumption?
No, I would say Bria. I would say Bria got the drunkest, because there was a couple of opportunities where I was like, dang, this little girl can drink.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Shanice too. Shanice definitely, they got lit on a few occasions.
Yeah.
You guys are also still trying to, a lot of people in the house are still trying to do their jobs, like Silas is in finance, all of these things. I mean, that seems another thing that we're not used to seeing in reality television, of cast with actual jobs that we get to see. Was that really hard to keep up for those 15 days?
Absolutely.
Yes, I worked half of it. And
you're a professor, right, Preston?
I am, but so I will say this now. I actually own and operate my own consulting company. But that wasn't the case during filming. And during filming, I had a whole ass employer who I'm grateful I didn't get fired from, because when I tell you, I was stressed trying to work and film. It was exhausting. But honestly, like, I think that was part of it too. I think, again, multitasking and figuring out like how to actually make the best of it, right? Like, I don't ever pretend to be loaded or wealthy. I am blessed, and I'm grateful for that. But a lot of it takes a lot of hard work. And so for us to also work and film, it was a lot.
Yeah. Amir, you second that?
Yeah, I second that. I mean, I was trying to take as many calls being a realtor back in Austin. Granted, it was the slower season, so I had a little bit of a break, but at the same time, a realtor that stops moving is never successful. So I was trying to entertain and be as active as possible, while also responding to listing emails, giving my buyers updates on the market back in Austin. So it was tough. It was tough for sure.
Jordan, you've dealt with this a little bit in terms of being a playmate and things of that nature, in terms of attention. I mean, what would you hope that would come out of this show? What was the reason you did this show? Like, would you hope that it would be able to, highlight other causes you're doing? Like, what is the end goal for you, Jordan?
I mean, I think for me, it's everyone has the perception of who I am based on what they see on Instagram or what I've done before. I mean, I'd even say that's how Silas made his commentary that first evening. And so I'm excited for people to see all the other wonderful qualities that I have, that Amir and Preston were so nice to describe before, to see my sense of humor, to see how I'm interacting with my friends and having a good time. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to show them more layers to me. There's more going on back here besides the exterior, even though it's great. There's great in the inside too, So I'm excited for that.
It's great. Listen, I'm in these Bravo streets every day, and it's intense. It is intense. Are you ready for the discourse that will come through all of this? Like, day in, day out with these shows, everybody is going to have an opinion. Everybody needs to have a hero. Everybody needs to have a villain. I always try to go with the theory 2 things can be true at once, but sometimes the audience doesn't understand that. Are you ready for that part of it? Because after Sunday night, you're going to, if you're online, you're going to see people have opinions.
I'm not ready. I mean, I'm someone who reads every comment and I try not to let anything get to me, but at the same time, like, other people's perception is sometimes a reality and I want to be aware of that. So I'm not ready for even more people to have an opinion on me or a say on what they think I should or shouldn't be doing.
I think you might go from like 100 DMs to 200 DMs. I think it's going to be all positive.
Right.
I think you're going to have even that many more people sliding in. What were you saying, Preston? Sorry.
No, first of all, I agree with that. You know what? I've been a loudmouth, opinionated person for so long online that I think it's come with the territory, right? So I'm not comparing it to what will happen starting Sunday, but I've been on Fox News, right, as a very, very, very progressive person, right? Like I've done speeches all over the world at this point, honestly, not to toot my horn, but just to state a fact. But the reality is, like, I'm used to like the back and forth, I hate your political opinion, this. And, you just kind of roll with the punches. It's so easy for me at this point to not look at comments, honestly. Like, it's almost like they're just there. Because comments are where dreams go to die. And so just stop looking at them, honestly, because the truth is the people who you impact positively will DM you and they will tell you. And then there are a lot of people who may not DM you, but they're really looking at you with adoration. And that's just what I have to keep in mind. It's like, not everyone who loves you will message you. Not everyone who messages you who will love you. But rest assured, there are a lot of people who are not messaging you either way, who are falling in love with you. And they just don't know how to share that just yet.
That's crazy. I feel like you just gave me advice.
Yeah. See,
I mean, well, we sat down and talked before you got on, and we were looking to get that message to you, Amir. So I'm glad we got it. Yeah. Hey, Preston, I wanted to ask you this particularly, and you mentioned you are a queer Black man, and I think you even mentioned your spouse in this. I'm not with that. Will we get to see more about that? Because I think sometimes that is something that I am wanting to see a little bit more of like, I see heterosexual love all the time. Will we get an opportunity to see the other, like, I want to see your story. Yeah. Do we get to see that?
So, not as much right now, unfortunately. My partner, he had to work pretty much the entire time we were filming. So he's definitely makes FaceTime appearances many times, but not now. But I will say, if we get these ratings high enough, season 2 is always around the corner. So let's see. But I do talk about him a lot. A lot of the cast has met him. So yeah, I think we'll see it, but not in a way where it's like us two right visibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of everybody's everyday reality. So I want to see that on reality as well. And I think Bravo has done a great job. Southern Hospitality had a good storyline this season, and I see a lot of room for growth there. In terms of pop culture and reality television, as we start winding down here, what do you guys watch? What do you guys like? And just to point out, Atlanta is on right before them, and it is very interesting. I watched both back to back, and like She by Sheree is getting into a fight with it was like a fight, and then it led right into you guys, and it was like this perfect, because it almost seems very extreme with the Housewives, and it goes into a more grounded reality, but really fun with you guys. What do you guys like to watch?
Ooh, I love Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I personally love to watch Summer House.
Really? Even this season? Where they're all like sad and stuff?
Dude, yeah. The only reason I like watching it is because I've been watching that story from season 1. And so I'm hoping that, the viewers that we gain are also on the same, binging journey where they don't really care what we bring to the table. They just want to watch how our lives unfold to find some commonality.
I was DMing with Lindsay Hubbard, one of the castmates of Summer House today, and she's going to be livid when she finds out how much better of a house you guys have. Like, it is shocking. They've got a full workout room, you guys, with a sauna. They've got a better pool. They've got, like, it's just way better across. They have a first night chef. It is shockingly better. And I was like, because in Summer House this season, everybody's fighting for a bedroom. You guys all seem to have bedrooms and stuff like that. It's wild. Okay, so you dig Summer House. Jordan, you said Real Housewives of Beverly Hills?
Yep, and Atlanta was my first love. Married to Medicine. Who Who else?
Are you happy that Quad's coming back to Married to Medicine? We just found out.
She was my favorite. So
yeah, I mean, and also in terms of Beverly Hills, I mean, if you stayed current, you know, were you sad to see Lisa Rinna go? Were you? I mean, was it time?
I think
it's a very different sort of. Yeah, I do too. Okay, good. You thought it was time.
I love Lisa Rinna. I just think the dynamic has changed in a way that she's not giving us what she used to give.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Preston, 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 what do you like to watch?
Oh, Atlanta, Potomac. Also love Married to Medicine. Those are probably the 3 I consistently watch. I've also been really getting into Vanderpump Rules because it's, how could you not at this point, right? It's just everywhere.
If you guys are in, like, Scandal is like, I have to talk about it every day, and it is like, I just can't wait for it to be over because it's too intense. And just, I'm not saying anything, Amir and Jordan, I'm not saying, obviously you might or may not be together, but if for some reason you are together, Amir, this is just directed at you. Don't cheat. And don't lie, and don't. I mean, and by the way, across the board, even without Jordan or not, just don't cheat and don't lie unless you want insanely high ratings, and then cheat and lie.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
How excited are you to be with Bravo, though? I think Bravo is actually continually like churning out some amazing shows, and it's great when Vanderpump Rules happens because it punctures that cultural zeitgeist where it's like they've been doing good shows for like 15, 16 years now. I mean, how excited are you to be on Bravo of all networks?
Beyond. I don't think I would have chosen another one, right? Like this is such a great opportunity, a unique opportunity, and it has its own branding and reputation and following. I love it. And I'm just so grateful for the opportunity, honestly, to see, even though I know the fans of Bravo can be very intense. You know, I'm even looking forward to that too.
I'm excited to be a part of a family. That's the biggest part, is like, you know, you're joining a network that, again, has been around for a very long time and built a very strong reputation for itself. But at the end of the day, once you are a part of the Bravo family, you're in there. You are in there. So I'm excited to potentially see some Bravo celebrities out in the streets and be like, hey, look, I'm one of you.
Yeah, did they give you like a card or something that you can show other Bravo celebrities that you two are a Bravo celebrity?
like a Bravo celebrity driver's license.
Yeah, it's exactly. I've got my learner's permit for Bravo.
Right.
Yeah, because BravoCon's coming up in October in Vegas. Would you guys consider going?
I will 100% be there.
100%. Can you please write a letter and let them know?
Oh my God. I mean, this is the letter. I'm sending this to Andy right now. But no, I mean, I think it'll be necessary for you guys to go. I mean, this is about building this brand. And this is why I really wanted to talk to you guys, just to tell the audience is that, you know, it's easy to be on board 10 seasons of Vanderpump Rules. It's easy to like now, you know, go, I've watched this all along, but you got to watch from the beginning. You got to be on that ground floor. This is like investing in Apple TV at the ground. Like, this is investing in a show. I'm telling you, each one of these characters are really fascinating. And it was such a breath of fresh air to watch this, to learn new stories. Like, that's like, I want new characters. We don't need to just keep going hitting the same people. These are all new people that I think you will really genuinely fall in love with. Jordan, I know you're a DJ as well. As we close out here, I think you should DJ at BravoCon. What would be your top 5 songs that you spin right now?
Ooh, honestly, I always have Vibrant Thing by Q-Tip.
Q-Tip, yes, of course.
Like my favorite music video and party song. Gotta have some Drake in there. I've been using a lot of his new song, Search and Rescue. I also obviously have to add Ice Spice in there right now. And then I like to throw little random songs in there. Like I'll throw a little pop, a little like transient EDM, love a Cascade moment, love Black Coffee. So I would say that's my top 5 right now.
Okay, well, let's get you guys at BravoCon and get you DJing at BravoCon. And also, how do we support? So we watch the show. I'm going to put all of your Instagram handles. We can buy a house from Amir. We can go to your DJ gigs. Preston, we can take your class. Is there anything else that we can support you guys with right now? Because really the word, we got to get the word out. And it's not just Monday, you guys. This will be, it's not just Sunday night. It's every Sunday night. So set your DVRs. You can watch on Peacock next day, but this is going to be an easy show to add to your rotation. Anything else that we should know before we leave?
Listen, well, I do just want to tease that I just started my book proposal not too long ago. So listen, just get people to buy it when it's finally out.
Right.
Preston, you reach out to me. Yeah, you got an automatic Instagram post. That is, and I'll have you on the show just to talk about the book. But I'm so excited for you guys. I feel like this is really exciting to talk to you right before it airs because you just don't know what the future holds, and this is a really cool inflection point potentially in your lives. So congratulations. The show is just really, really awesome. That first episode. Can't wait to watch the rest. And I'm telling you guys, I will be talking about this every week. So make sure you add this to your rotation. It's right after Atlanta. I'm telling you, it is the perfect end after watching Atlanta. So Preston, Amir, Jordan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much.